Hola everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. March is Women's History Month and I want to recommend some books for you all. Here I have a gigantic pile of nonfiction that I think would be great to read during this month that I have both loved and enjoyed. I have some pretty obvious choices here, but I have some that are maybe a little bit less so, and I have loved and really enjoyed. I want to talk to you all about. So we're going to start with, because I have so many books here, I'm not going to go into too much detail about all of these, but I will try to list them all below so that you can search them up if it sounds like something that you might want to read. We'll start with some graphic, these are all, for the most part, kind of graphic memoir-ish. And so I have volume 1 of Persepolis, The Story of a Childhood by Marjane Satrapi. And I have not read the second volume of this, so I'm only recommending the first because I only want to recommend things that I have read. But the second volume also has really great reviews. And this is the story about a young girl growing up in Iran during their revolution, during the Islamic Revolution, and it is all in black and white, and it sort of has the style of like a political comic. And yeah, it's really heartbreaking, and just it was a very compelling story, as are all of these, I guess. Then we have Fun Home, a family tragicomic by Alison Bechdel. This was made into a Broadway musical also, which I should probably look into and see if I like the music. But this is about Alison's relationship with her father. She has since written another sort of volume from her life, which is about her relationship with her mother. But this one in particular is about her relationship with her father. Trigger warnings in this for not confirmed but sort of alluded to pedophilia. So yeah, and she is a queer woman. Then we have Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Broche. She has since written another one also, which recently came out. I haven't read that one just yet, but I've heard mixed reviews about that one. But this one I absolutely loved, and this is I'm sure you've seen these comics. They're very, very popular online, and this is about, it is her unique way to talk about her mental health and depression, and I found it to be so moving and so compelling. Then we have one of my favorite reads of last year, which I still haven't stopped thinking about, and that is Good Talk by Mira Jacobs, a memoir and conversations. And this is basically exactly what the subtitle suggests. It is a memoir about her life through conversations specifically that she begins to have with her son, but also just throughout her life with her husband, with her in-laws, with friends, people that she's dated, her family, everything about politics, colorism, gender, feminism, queerness, everything you will find in that book, and I absolutely loved it. Then we have Men Explain Things to Me by Rebecca Solnit. She has written a lot of these short sort of feminist little essay collections of essays that all talk about a sort of a different subtopic within the sort of feminism conversation, and I find them all through Haymarket Books, which is a great nonprofit independent publisher that I really highly recommend, and they have sales going on all the time. So if you like her writing, if you like anything that talks about history, social justice, sort of radical movements, things like that, Haymarket Books has all of those. But yeah, so this one is basically about this, just a lot of mansplaining and how she deals with it, and just discussions around that. Then we have Hunger from Roxane Gay. Bad Feminist of hers was the first that I read, and it moved me and sort of revolutionized the way that I thought about feminism. But this one also has a really special place in my heart, and I think since I read it maybe 2 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And it's just discussions about her body. All of her books are difficult reads, so just be in the right mindset for them, because she does talk about assault, and just if you suffer, if things like that trigger you, or eating disorders, food, conversation about food, body image, all of that she will discuss. So just, you know, be in the right mindset for that. Then I have, you guys know you all know I can't make one of these without talking about my girl, Esmeralda Santiago. We have When I Was Puerto Rican and Almost a Woman, which I read and loved last year. And these are books 1 and 2 in her sort of memoir trilogy about being a Puerto Rican woman coming into the United States and sort of growing relationships with men, with herself, with family expectations, being Puerto Rican, the Puerto Rican identity, then the New Yorker identity. I just love everything about it. Then we have The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. This talks a lot, this is specifically about Henrietta Lacks, but if you want to learn about the way in which the American medicine has taken advantage of Black and brown bodies for the advancement of medicine without consent, without knowledge and proper education on the part of the patient, or really in these cases victims, this might be a good place to start. Her cells were taken without her consent and have been used in many ways and have helped to advance medicine, and she didn't consent to it. Her family has not received anything from all of the advancements that have been made, and it's just a tragic story. And from then you could probably go on to read about other things as well that I still want to do. 2 other sort of obvious ones, actually we'll go with 3 pretty obvious ones and kind of get them out of the way. We have I Am Malala, the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban. If you have not read this yet, why haven't you? She is such an inspiring young woman, and I love her passion for education and women and justice. Hello, hi. Do you want to? Okay, no, he does not want to come say hi. Then we have Becoming by Michelle Obama and Educated by Tara Westover. Both of these are super duper popular. They were on like the New York Times bestseller for forever. Educated is a memoir about how it's so embarrassing to be filming when other people can hear you. Okay. And about how her family were sort of doomsday preparedness individuals who didn't trust the government, they didn't trust education, they didn't send her to school until she was like 17 years old. And so it's about her overcoming that and becoming educated and stepping away from her family and everything that they put her through. Becoming by Michelle Obama is a memoir about her life before she became first lady and and after as well, and it is just beautifully written. I haven't read his memoir yet, but I feel like I'm still gonna have hers as my preferred one. And then we have One Day We'll All Be Dead and None of This Will Matter by Scotchy Cool, and this is just a collection of essays. I didn't really know who she was before I picked this up, but she is so funny. She wrote a lot of blogs and sort of did online journalism and things like that, and I love this. This is just a memoir about growing up and her father and the relationship that she has with her family and the expectations that she has. And she just writes a lot about her culture, and it's hilarious, and I love it, and I highly recommend it. I loved it on the year that I read it. I want to say I read it now like 4 years ago perhaps. We have If You Enjoy Nature, H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald. This is another really popular one. This is about how Helen decided to train a goshawk as a means for her to process her grieving after the sudden death of her father. If you have recently undergone a loss, this might be a difficult one, but I think she discusses grief beautifully, and it is definitely a memorable one, and there's a reason why so many love it and why it continues to be so popular. Then we have My Time Among the Whites, Notes from An Unfinished Education by Janine Capo-Cruzet, and this is a collection of essays for the daughter of Cuban refugees and her education, her time in South Florida and South Florida, and then her formal education, everything from culture to family dynamics, family expectation, education, her the difficulties that she had to endure during her education, and the sort of the ways in which she had to fit in or not. She talks about a lot of different complex situations that I really appreciated her intake on. Then we have When They Call You a Terrorist, a Black Lives Matter memoir by Patrice Kahn Colors and Asha Bandel, with a foreword by Angela Davis. And this is it's definitely a memoir. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like a history of how Black Lives Matter came about. It is a memoir that depicts for you the situations in which individuals would be compelled and were compelled to create this movement, which has become such a revolution. And this was absolutely amazing. It was so moving. It was a difficult read, but my God, I loved it so much. Then we have Unmentionable, The Victorian Lady's Guide to Sex, Marriage, and Manners by Therese O'Neill. And this is a sort of comedic history about Victorian ladies and what they had to endure and what their life was like. And she takes on a very specific Victorian lady's perspective, and she does acknowledge it and sort of remind you of it throughout. So this is what, if you had money during the Victorian era, what your life might have been like. And it was very interesting, it was funny, it was witty, and I really enjoyed it. Then we have Ordinary Girls, a memoir by Hakira Diaz, and she is she's the daughter of Puerto Rican, I think she's like first gen Puerto Rican, having moved to Miami Beach. And similarly to My Time Among the Whites, it's a memoir that discusses, family, culture, career, love life within the scope of the Puerto Rican identity and the Puerto Rican American identity. And I loved it. I love anything. I will always try anything that's been written by a Puerto Rican. You guys all know this. Then we have Redefining Realness, My Path to Womanhood, Identity, Love, and So Much More by Janet Mock. Janet Mock is a trans woman, and this was a incredibly moving memoir about her family, herself, her youth, and her personal journey, how it is very unique and it differs from that of many other trans women, but that which makes her unique and beautiful and someone to obviously worthy to look up to. And yeah, it was beautiful. I loved it. Then we have one of my personal heroes, My Beloved World by Sonia Sotomayor, and this is a memoir about our first Latina Supreme Court Justice, who happens to be Puerto Rican. I love this. I love her. If you want to listen to the audiobook, it is narrated by Rita Moreno, who I love. By the way, Rita Moreno's memoir is another one that I highly recommend. That one, there's so much about her that I had no idea. If you don't know who she is an amazing Puerto Rican actress, model, musician, who was in West Side Story and was in Broadway and has done all kinds of stuff, and boy has she done all kinds of stuff that I had no idea. Super interesting, super juicy, loved it. Then we have In the Country We Love, My Family Divided by Diana Guerrero. She is the actress, she's one of the actresses that was in Orange is the New Black, and this is a memoir about her family's immigration to the United States and how at the age of 14 her parents were deported and she was left completely on her own in the United States. No one checked in on her, no one knew anything that was going on with her, and it sort of really opens your eyes to how many times this might happen and how many kids are out there who come home and their parents are not there and they have no idea what to do. Thankfully, she had friends who were able to take her in and help her, and she grew to the woman that we know today, and is, you know, successful, and now is using her voice to bring attention to all of these issues. But yeah, this one, I would recommend this on audiobook. I think it would be a better reading experience for you. We're getting to the end here. Oh, it's only 15 minutes. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. I thought it was gonna be much longer. It's probably because I'm zooming right past these. Hey buddy, you wanna come say hi? Oh, you can see, they can see you. Hey. Do you want to talk about Women's History Month? No? Then we have one that I recently talked about. I think I read this in, was it January, I think? Once I Was You, a memoir of love and hate in a torn America by Maria Hinojosa. She's a Latinx reporter for right now for NPR. She has a popular podcast called Latinos USA, and yeah, it's a memoir about her family, about her life, situations that happened when she was young, the way that she had to break through barriers in the journalism industry, the way that she had to balance family and journalism, and the sacrifices that she had to make. And it's beautiful. She really holds up a mirror to America. She doesn't hold back. She packs a punch, and it comes from a place of love. You know, it's that idea that you can love. It is incredibly patriotic to hold a mirror to the nation in which you reside and the nation that you love, and expect more of it than it currently is. And she does that, and I appreciated that. Then last but not least, we have Shout by Lori Halse Anderson. She's the author of Speak, and this is a memoir sort of told in poems, and she talks about everything that happened in her life, other women who have spoken to her after having read Speak, her writing it, her life afterwards. It is a difficult read, you know, so content warning for that, for sure. But yeah, it's gonna be a really quick read, and I would recommend the audiobook for this as well, since a lot of it is in verse. You can enjoy it in that way. And yeah, it's the story of a survivor who refused to be silenced, and very strong words in there as well. So yeah, those are a lot of nonfiction picks that I recommend that you might want to pick up during Women's History Month. I have enjoyed all of these and am happy that really I have this many to show you. I think it makes me proud of myself. But what I did notice is that I don't have books waiting to be read that I could continue. I don't have many of those, so I will be rectifying that, and hopefully you'll see you know, a good, diverse, awesome book haul soon where we're gonna have more of these options that we can maybe read together. So yes, enjoy your upcoming March. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. I love you all very much.